Yay! I'm live. Hey y'all. Who's here? Anybody here? I don't see anybody signing on yet, but hello. Rose Candela here. Welcome to my studio. And I see someone lovely join. I do not know what your first name is, but Popham. Hey, how are you? Popham looks like might be your last name. Let me know what your name is. LD. We probably know each other and I'm just like spacing out right now, so sorry about that. Welcome. Today is Wednesday and I'm coming to you live from my studio, feeling a little bit better, drinking some green tea. Laura! Oh, Laura, hey! Of course. It's all clicking now. Yes. Hey, Jason. Oh, Jason's here. Not my husband, Jason, my friend Jason, who has recently been recovering from a lot of heart issues. I'm just gonna, can I go ahead and say that? I know you've posted about it as well, but he's been recovering from some health stuff. And so today I'm coming in here to talk about something that's up for me. Oh, Jason says, of course. Jason had some heart attacks last week. And he's here and it's amazing and I'm so grateful, and he's a really integral part of how I met my husband's story. So not how I met, but how we ended up dating, and I will tell that story another day because I also mentioned it last week. But he's a really sweet friend in our life and I'm glad that he's here. And so today I'm talking about community, actually. I just got the download from the ether that I wanted to talk about community because I have been thinking about a couple of communities that I'm part of online and in person. And in person it's always easier for me to figure out whether I fit in the communities, right? But there's a couple of things that I'm part of that are based around businessy stuff, right? And while I love business stuff, I find that the perspective that keeps getting shared over and over and over and over and over and over again is like very linear, a little bit challenging to fit into sometimes when your life is your life, right? Is the reality. And even though there is conversation around the honesty about that, like not everybody's successful all the time, or this is just the curated view, still when you log into a community that the main theme is success and reaching a certain status, it can feel either like really motivating or not. And so that's up for everybody to decide for themselves. But where I am in the season of my life, which you probably know, is that I'm evaluating how all of that fits in for me, and the concept of like doing things for the gram, so to speak, doing things so that I get more likes, more followers, more people on my email list, whatever, tends to take me really out of alignment with my work. Now, I know all the perspectives about like serving, and then that's what brings people to you, but I'm just talking about my own life right now as a mom, as an artist, as someone whose career path before all of this really was like a solo stuff, contract work, into working for myself, and then deciding to be the full-time caregiver for my child. So I'm in a place where it's like I can't do everything, and if I do have the time and space, then what do I do, right? Do I keep going further and further and also maybe ignoring some inner monologue, some inner dialogue, some inner strength that can like tell me where I belong, right? Because there's a part of this whole idea of like joining communities online and because you want to be at that level, and then also, or the like, you want to be experiencing what the leader experiences, right? So you're like wanting to reach that, and if there's a path to reach it, you can reach it if you're on that path. Or there's communities that you can like just go in and be, right? You can be who you are, and it doesn't have to be like productivity based. It's a really interesting world we're living in right now. I'm totally like trying to share a lot about this in my stories, in the posts that I do, and the emails that I do. And this is why I'm doing the studio sessions, studio diaries. Still on the fence about whether that's the right thing to call all this, but to show you what it's like, what my process is when my son is being taken care of by somebody else, and here I am contemplating what I'm doing with my life. So I'm gonna drink a little tea. I was sick last week. I'm better this week, but it's still like gunky. The gunk is real. So all of us in the Northern Hemisphere are in the darkest days of the year, and that. So all of us in the Northern Hemisphere are experiencing the darkest days of the calendar year. So if you're feeling like a lot of inner turmoil, if you're feeling a lot of reflection, if you're feeling a little sluggish, sad, depressed, I just want to say I see you. This time of year is hard. We often think that like at the beginning of winter it gets darker, but now is actually the darkest time of the year. So we're in the transition of going inward and being like, oh, what did I do? What did I do with my year? What have I done with my life? So that's there. And I want to talk about, I'm going to share some of the art that I'm working on this week. You may have seen it in some of my posts. And I'm reading Jason's comment here. It says, I love the vulnerability and uncertainty you're willing to reveal. Yes. Thank you for seeing that and sharing that. I have lotion on my hands. This is why I keep like, oh yeah, look, I got some chocolate in my back pocket. Mom life. I did not stage that. It's a literal, I keep posting about chocolate in my pockets this week too. So the dark times are here, and take care of yourself and realize that you're not alone. That a lot of us are like in the hustle bustle of a holiday season. Thanksgiving's next week here in the United States. I know a lot of my friends who watch are not American, but that's there. And then Christmas, if you celebrate the Christmas holiday, is right around the corner. So there's a lot of stuff that we're like called to do that we're also being called to go inward, right? And not be like out. So there's a push and pull. So I want to share some art that I've been working on this week. Meaning I worked on it for about 30 minutes on Monday. And I also want to share the inspiration for it, which is a series I started, I think this summer. I believe I started it, but it's what I call my Real Mantra series. I know these are backwards, but they're all on my website and they're all for sale. Most of them. There may be one or two that are already taken by other people, but these are short little phrases that I wrote onto paper because they're like the real things I say to myself versus like life is beautiful or it's gonna be okay or what are the things that people say that kind of feel really cliche? I know we all feel this, but we're like, yeah, life is beautiful. And then it's like, well, I gotta go wash the dishes or navigate my inner turmoil or process trauma. So I'm gonna go do that. And so the series that I did, you're stealing that as a song lyric, chocolate in my pocket or my pants. I don't know, that's a whole other thing, right? Okay. I'm distracted by that hilariousness right now. So the Real Mantra series. So these say, this is just a phase. Here, I'm gonna like hold them up like this. So these are the things I say to myself, literally. or they come to me when I'm on walks. Healing hurts, but I'm resilient. But y'all, healing hurts. It's not easy. It's not like terrible either because you're in the process, but actually sometimes during the process it can feel like worse than before you had the call to do healing work. So that's also something that I don't think gets mentioned a lot, is that process can be painful, but you're resilient. Oh, what does this one say? Perhaps it'll turn out okay. Perhaps. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Their opinion doesn't matter. This is one of my favorites. These are all for sale, y'all. So if you're called to one, I think I listed them as 77 on my website. So, Jason says, pocket. Okay, yeah. I mean, whatever, you know. Different types of lyrics there, Jason. This says your phone is not an oracle, because it's not. Though we go to it to find the answers. She's so full of herself. That was one of my most popular posts this year. That image, because women get told that you're full of yourself, or say this behind closed doors. Oh, she's so full of herself, and it's like, yeah. Who else are you gonna be full of? I'll link to that post again. What is this? Presence. These are just words now. I'm not just saying. It's perspective. Things will change. That's guaranteed. I actually just mentioned this to my husband this morning. We're all going through it, y'all. My perspective is power. Because it is. Your perspective is power. I release because I care. And if any of these are like, I want to talk more about that, just send me a message if something comes up for you. Take your vitamins. This one's for Molly Rose Reed. I still have not given it to her. I took my vitamins this morning. Okay, so now I'm going to flip the camera and show you what I'm working on right now. And I'm going to be, excuse me, y'all. Let's see. Oh, it's a little off center. Let's see if I can do this without crashing my tripod. So this piece says this is where I belong. I started it on Monday. I'm going to add some lines and talk about it. And maybe some watercolor too. I'm trying to wipe off my hands because they're really oily from some lotion, because I wash my hands about 1,000 times a day, especially when people in my family have been sick and I'm caretaking them. But so here we are, and I think I'm centered on the screen. It's like you're looking down up on my painting, but so this mantra, this is where I belong. I really want to make a point that wherever you are is where you belong. So I started this talking about community and kind of feeling like I'm uncertain about where I belong in certain communities. You may feel this way too. You may feel drawn to join stuff, particularly in the online space, that guarantees a certain status once you go through the material. And I think that if you really know that's what you want, then do it. Like if you are like waking up in the morning and you're like, I freaking need 6 figures in my business. Who wakes up saying that? I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. But I need this I need to get to this level of growth, or I want this level of growth. And this person says they'll guarantee it for me. And if you resonate with that, join it. But I'm really, really, really suspicious of promises that are based on a number figure. And honestly, the more I have open conversations with super bright, intelligent, successful, quote unquote, people, they also feel like it's super gimmicky too. So, you know, there's this whole idea in marketing of like, oh, I'm in the middle of trying to buy a new car, okay? And a lot of the salespeople who I interact with are just super salesy. Like, they're super traditional with the salesy thing, right? Like, oh, this feature here, and then you'll get this, and also like follow up, like on the brink of too much follow up. So where am I going with this? So selling a certain status can prey on people's weaknesses, especially because marketing is a lot of like knowing about human psychology. So if someone's really good at delivering ideas that call to your humanness, and you're in a place of a vulnerable place, then I'm cautious of that. And I think a lot of people are actually becoming way more attuned and hip to knowing that that's a tactic in online marketing. So I don't know the answers, y'all. I'm not trying to be against online marketing, because here we are. I'm using online's platform to share my message, and I think that's part of online marketing. But I'm also really excited about my beautiful friend Asha Frost's membership. She's got an online community that is like, it doesn't have anything to do with building your business, even though a lot of the women in there are in business for themselves. But it has to do with like listening to your senses and getting in touch with some higher power, higher voice. It's called Sacred. I do actually have a link to it on my profile if you're interested in checking it out, because I'm a proud affiliate of that sort of messaging that is like not about achievement, y'all. It's, you know, anyways, I'm gonna stop with that. So this is where I belong. My question to you, I'll flip the phone back up so we can see one another. My question to you is, what is calling to you? If this has to do with community or anything else, right? Like, what do you feel like is speaking to your soul right now? And how can you listen? And how can you listen? And how can you answer that call, right? It may not be, and it may not have anything to do with like your next step or dreaming. Maybe it just has to do with being where you are and being present and loving that. And it might be that you're like, I really want to grow my business. And there are plenty of people who can support you through that. Plenty of free information too out there to help support you through that. I'm a big fan of libraries. So you don't have to necessarily jump into, you know, big investments at this juncture in your life. So this is where you belong. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your time. And I'll see you not next week, because it is a holiday week, so I'm taking off. I may come in for a short hello, but I will see you soon. I will be sending out emails next week though, so if you're on my email list, join. If you're not on my email list, join. If you're on my email list, I love you. I have a really small list, but the people in there are incredible, and I am in contact with a lot of them every time I send out email. So be there if you want, or just keep tuning in. I love you and I see you. Until next time.